So we're picking back up where I left off. We're going to be talking a little bit about suspension today, kind of where I'm at right now. I picked these up for very cheap. These are cheap coilovers to begin with. I think they're like $400 for this set. And I keep wanting to call them max speeding rods, but they're not. They don't have an S. They are max speeding rods. But I picked these up for $200 for the complete set. These are for a 2010 Honda Civic. So 2010 Honda Fit, 2010 Honda Civic. These are not a direct bolt-on. I have supporting mods to go with it, but the big focus here is on these top camber plates that we've been looking at, and some information that I've seen online, and just trying to figure out. So I had posted on the Facebook group, on a few Facebook groups actually, and got some really good, a lot of people really wanted to help me out, and gave me recommendations on what they're using. I've gotten E46 BMW, Toyota Previa. Online, there's a company that basically copied the Nissan Versa mount. Now, the big thing is this is large as far as how the space, and when you look up most of the camber plates, like for instance, this is the camber adjustment plate that comes with the coilovers. This is for the 8th gen Civic. If you look, there's not enough space where the bolt, it would run into like this open area, so you don't have enough material left over. So you really need this to be wider. So one of the companies that copied the Nissan Versa mount, I went and picked up a stock Nissan Versa mount. I had to drill this out to make it fit, but actually it fits kind of nice. I was kind of surprised that it actually, outside of just drilling this out to make it a little bigger, bolted on like it was almost kind of supposed to be there. So I have everything loose right now, but the goal is to kind of figure out what's going to be the best solution for an upper camber plate on these. I know there's a couple companies that make them, but we got a couple 3D printed plates here that I mocked up, and I obviously have the factory mount there. And we have that 8th gen obviously for reference. So this one is actually the bolt pattern from my Nissan 240. And while I did not make the actual hole diameter in the center very large, that's kind of, actually that wouldn't be right. It would be something like this, but it still is pretty close. Like, you might be able to get away with that if a 240 for a 240 mount, like, but it's still going to be really close to that edge when you actually kind of drill this whole thing out. So the next is the Versa mount, which is what one of the companies basically copied, and this isn't going to fit because of the material around this part that you have to trim anyway to put these on, but I modeled the center of this around the actual size of what that would be when you cut it away. And that's, so the Nissan, I see why they went with the Versa mount, because that thing is going to give you more than enough room away all the way around. So you have to trim all of this on both sides to, no matter what plate you run. But yeah, so the problem with the Versa, the Nissan Versa, so it's a 2008 Nissan Versa, and that actually looks like it would work really well. And I mean, because it will. I'm guarantee once I get this, I'll take the suspension out, I'll throw this in, and I'll see how it sits. And you know, I guarantee it'll sit right. The problem is that the aftermarket doesn't really make adjustable plates for the 2008 Nissan Versa. Understandably, not many people are modifying Nissan Versas. Most people probably say that about the Fit, but yeah, so it's kind of like going back into the, I don't really want to make one of these myself, but the so I keep kind of looking for more actual off-the-shelf alternatives for this thing, but So I think what I would do before I do anything crazy, so there's my kind of my 3D printed, much easier to hold in that heavy bracket. But so I think what I'm gonna do, see, because that's like perfect, what I'll do is I'll measure that before I cut it. I'll measure that and I'll make one of these. I'll make a stencil and then have it go through that hole to center it, so I'll know right where it's at. And then I'll kind of do something to hold it up on the top, either tape it or make some sort of like screw-in thing that holds it. And then I can use that as like my, and I'll reduce these holes down to just a tip, a little point. So I just left it in there and then lowered the car down with it. I would still have to lower the coil over a bit, but yeah, that's where it would sit. And actually, I think it's gonna sit nice. I have the two closer ends on the back here, which would probably be like there and there, and then the other one would be tucked in there. So I actually think that would be good. Now I just need to find if someone actually makes a Nissan Versa like adjustable camber plate, which would be, you know, the whole point of this at this point. But